In a world saturated with noise, superficiality, and empty promises, there are stories that aren't just told, they're felt. This is one of them. The battle in the desert wasn't just a biblical episode, it was a real confrontation between truth and temptation, between identity and deception. What happened between Jesus and Satan in that arid terrain still resonates today because it continues to happen in our own hearts. And if you've ever felt tested, exhausted, or invisible, this message is for you. Before we begin, pause, subscribe right now and activate the bell. This isn't for vanity, it's for purpose. This channel isn't entertainment, it's a spiritual training ground. Here we proclaim the truth that transforms. If you're looking for direction, clarity, and power, you've come to the right place. Now prepare to enter the desert. The desert was never meant to be comfortable. It was never about peace or rest. It was about fire, silence, and confrontation. When Jesus was led into that barren wasteland, he wasn't escaping. He was entering a battleground. There were no crowds cheering, no disciples watching, no miracles happening, just sand, silence, and Satan. And in that solitude, the greatest spiritual battle unfolded, not with swords or fire, but with words, identity, and resilience. This isn't a story about survival. This is a story about becoming unbreakable. Jesus didn't wander aimlessly into the wilderness. He was led by the Spirit. That detail matters more than we realize. He didn't go there because he was lost or uncertain. He went because heaven had scheduled a war. The timing wasn't random. It was divine. Before any public preaching, before any healing, before the cross, there was the desert. Because before God puts you in the spotlight, he puts you in the shadows to shape you. If you're in a dry season right now, don't misinterpret it. God isn't punishing you. He's preparing you. And Satan waited, not at the beginning, but at the point of physical collapse. Day 40. When the body is screaming, when the mind is foggy, when everything in you wants relief, that's when the voice comes. Not loud, just a whisper, a suggestion. If you are the Son of God, he wasn't just questioning Jesus' power, he was attacking his identity. And if the enemy can make you doubt who you are, he doesn't need to chain you, because you'll chain yourself with insecurity, anxiety, and performance. But Jesus didn't respond with emotions. He didn't scream. He didn't negotiate. He spoke the word. Not ideas, not arguments, scripture. And not just any scripture, Deuteronomy. The very words tied to Israel's failure in their own desert. Jesus was rewriting history. Where others had fallen, he stood. That's not just theology. That's power. Because every time you quote truth in the face of a lie, you're not just defending, you're advancing. You're tearing down strongholds with the sword of the Spirit. The desert is not punishment. It's proof. Proof that you are chosen. Proof that there's something in you worth testing. Gold doesn't fear fire. It requires it. So don't despise the silence. Don't run from the hunger. Let the desert do what it was sent to do. Strip the noise, expose the lies, and awaken the truth. You don't grow when you're comfortable. You grow when you're on your knees quoting truth with cracked lips and trembling hands, yet refusing to bow. Jesus wasn't performing for anyone. No audience, no applause. His battle wasn't public. It was sacred. And that's where real authority is born. In the secret places. In the war behind closed doors. What you conquer when no one is watching determines what you can carry when everyone is looking. This is the gospel of grit. Of unwavering obedience when no spotlight is shining on you. Can you stand firm when it's just you and the Spirit? That's where kings are forged. So if you're feeling forgotten, unseen, broken, remember this. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't a threat. You're not abandoned. You're being activated. Heaven has not gone silent. It's working behind the curtain. Stay still. Stay faithful. Let your roots go deep while no one is clapping. Because when you emerge, you won't just have a verse. You'll have a testimony. And no demon in hell can argue with a life that bled truth in the shadows. Satan doesn't always come with threats. Sometimes he comes with scripture. Twisted, cropped, out of context. The second temptation didn't ask Jesus to feed himself. It asked him to prove himself. From the highest point of the temple, with all eyes potentially watching, the enemy said, "Jump, because surely, if you're really the Son of God, angels will catch you." But that wasn't a test of divinity. It was a trap of ego. Satan was baiting Jesus to make his identity public spectacle, and Jesus didn't fall for it. Not because he couldn't, but because he wouldn't. This is where so many fall today. In a culture addicted to platforms, applause, and instant validation, we confuse visibility with purpose. We think if people aren't watching, then it doesn't matter. But Jesus showed us the opposite. He didn't jump to prove himself. He didn't need the crowd's approval. He already had the Father's. Real power doesn't come from being seen. It comes from being secure. Secure in calling, secure in timing, secure in the silent yes to God's voice. When Satan quoted Psalm 91, he left out a line, "In all your ways." The enemy is a master of half-truths. He'll quote the Bible, but leave out the obedience. That's why discernment isn't optional. It's survival. Just because something sounds spiritual doesn't mean it's divine. Just because it glitters doesn't mean it's God. Jesus answered with balance, "It is also written, 'Do not test the Lord your God.'" That's not just a verse. That's a war strategy. Never try to force God to prove himself on your terms. Trust is not proven through demands. It's revealed through stillness. The third temptation came with no disguise, no verses, no nuance. Just raw, direct corruption, power, glory, control. Bow to me, and I'll give you the kingdoms of the world. This wasn't just about authority, it was about worship. And that's the enemy's endgame. Always. He doesn't just want your failure, he wants your loyalty. Because whoever you worship, you serve. And whoever you serve, you become. Jesus didn't entertain it for a second. "Away from me, Satan. For it is written, 'Worship the Lord your God, and serve him only.'" This moment wasn't about kingdoms. It was about the cross. Satan was offering Jesus a crown without crucifixion, a throne without obedience, a shortcut that bypassed sacrifice. And how many today are tempted by the same deal? Influence without integrity, platforms without process, success without surrender. But every shortcut to glory is a compromise of destiny. Jesus didn't blink. He didn't barter. He stood. Because some victories aren't won by negotiation, but by refusal. You don't debate darkness. You drive it out with truth. When the devil left, Jesus didn't rise with trumpets or fanfare. He rose with silence, with strength, with scars no one could see. That's the kind of authority that shifts atmospheres. Not because it was earned, but because it was forged. And the spirit that led him into the wilderness was the same spirit that empowered him to walk out of it. That's your inheritance. Not avoidance of battles, but victory through them. You were never promised ease, but you were promised power. The kind of power that whispers when hell screams. The kind of power that stands when everything shakes. So now it's your turn. Your desert, your silence, your temptations. You don't need to be afraid, because Jesus already won there. Not with comfort, but with conviction. Not with a crowd, but with clarity. And if he conquered there, so can you. This isn't just a message, it's a mantle, a call to rise, to resist, and to remember who you are. You are not alone in your fight. You are not empty in your silence. You are not weak in your hunger. You are a child of God, armed, chosen, and unshakable. Don't leave this moment without making a decision. This message wasn't meant to entertain you. It was meant to awaken you. If the desert has been shaping you, refining you, confronting you, now is the time to rise with intention. Stop negotiating with the enemy. Stop living for temporary comfort. Stand on what is written. Declare what is true. And walk with the authority that only comes from obedience in the unseen. Don't waste your wilderness. Let it mark you. Let it make you. Let it set you apart. If this spoke to something deep in you, don't scroll away like it was just another video. This was a divine interruption. A holy reminder that you were made for more than survival. You were created for surrender, for truth, for eternal purpose. So make it known. Say it out loud. Write it in the comments. I will worship the Lord my God, and him only will I serve. Let heaven hear it. Let hell tremble. Your worship is your war cry. Your obedience is your weapon. Your desert is your proving ground. Now take action. Don't delay. Subscribe to the channel and follow Jesus. This isn't about growing numbers, it's about growing warriors. When you subscribe, you're stepping into a tribe of people who are choosing truth over trends, obedience over ego, and purpose over popularity. Hit the bell so you never miss what God is saying here. And if you know someone walking through a wilderness of their own, share this with them. Be the voice that reminds them they're not alone, and they're not defeated. This is more than a channel. This is a movement of clarity in a world of confusion. A place where faith is forged in the fire, where weakness becomes strength, where battles are faced with boldness and grace. So stay connected, stay present, stay planted. The next message could be the word that unlocks something in you. The journey isn't over, and neither is your story. My name is Oliver. I don't just create these messages, I live them. I've walked through my own deserts. I've faced the silence, the doubt, the lies, and I've seen the truth break through. So if you're here, know this. I believe in what God is doing in you. I'm honored to walk beside you in this journey. Until next time, stay strong, stay rooted, and never forget who you are. You are a child of God. You are seen, you are chosen, and you are not alone. I'll see you soon.